Thank you very much for joining us to our very first story this morning. And 20 magistrates from across the country must from today start looking for other jobs. Now, this follows their dismissal from the Judicial Service for misconduct. The dismissals are in connection with the undercover investigations by journalist Anas Anas, which exposed widespread corruption in the judiciary. Now, we can hear from the Chief Justice. Let's first hear from the Chief Justice.
On the 31st of August, 2015, I received a petition from Tiger IPI, dated same, for the removal from office of 22 members of the lower bench on grounds of stated misbehavior pursuant to Article 151 of the 1992 Constitution. Two of them, as we have already made public, had then been elevated to the High Court as of April this year, and therefore could not be dealt with under the said Article 151. Later, Tiger IPI submitted another name, Emmanuel Opari, to put the total number at 23. On receipt of the petition, which was accompanied by audio-visual evidence and transcripts of the alleged acts of misbehavior, an emergency meeting was held by the Judicial Council on 2nd September 2015, following which a 5-member disciplinary committee chaired by a Justice of the Supreme Court, Her Ladyship Justice Sophia Adinyira, was constituted to thoroughly investigate the allegations. The committee included 2 senior legal practitioners, a high-level government representative, a brigadier general representing the Ghana Armed Forces, and a justice of the High Court, who are all members of the Judicial Council. We assured the general public then that the outcome of the investigations would be made public and no one will be spared the appropriate sanctions where culpability is clearly established. The committee investigating the circuit court judges and district magistrates has now completed its task and submitted its findings to the Judicial Council at an emergency meeting this morning. Council has deliberated on the findings and recommendations of the committee and taken the appropriate decisions in respect of each of the circuit court judges or district magistrates involved in accordance with Article 151 of the 1992 Constitution.
Now let's hear the Judicial Secretary Justice Alex Opoku-Champong announce the list of these dismissed magistrates.
Unanimously decided to remove from office 20 out of the 21 judges and magistrates cited in the petition. Some were removed from office without benefits and others with benefits. Those removed with benefits were remorseful when they appeared before the committee and apologized profusely to the people of Ghana and the judiciary for bringing the name of the institution into disrepute. I must state that we have communicated this decision to almost all the judges or magistrates, all their lawyers. There are 3 of them we could not reach, and we could not reach their lawyers also, so we would not specifically mention their names. These are the resolutions. His Honor Benjamin Y. Osei, Circuit Court Judge Dwabe, removal without benefits for stated misbehavior under Article 151(1) of the 1992 Constitution. His Honor Seram Chachu Azuma, Circuit Court Judge Ekropon, removal with benefits for stated misbehavior under Article 151(1) of the 1992 Constitution. Her Honor Florence Otu Naipens, Circuit Court Judge Tema, removal without benefits for stated misbehavior under Article 151(1) of the 1992 Constitution. His Honor Isaac B. Akwanti, Circuit Court Judge Wa, removal without benefits for stated misbehavior under Article 151(1) of the 1992 Constitution. is Anna Alex Obin Asante, Circuit Court Judge, Takwa. Removal without benefits for stated misbehavior under Article 1511 of the 1992 Constitution. This is the list of Circuit Court judges. We now move on to the list of magistrates. For professional magistrates, we have His Worship Samuel Ahiabo, District Court, Adidome. Removal without benefits for stated misbehavior under Article 1511 of the 1992 Constitution. His Worship William Buffo, District Court, Cape Coast. Removal without benefits for stated misbehavior under Article 1511 of the 1992 Constitution. We now move on to the list of the career magistrates. His Worship Paul K. Alasan, District Court, Aguna Asante. Removal with benefits for stated misbehavior under Article 1511 of the 1992 Constitution. His Worship Albert Zuga, District Court, Ashaman. Removal with benefits for stated misbehavior under Article 1511 of the 1992 Constitution.
Right, so you did hear the Judicial Secretary Justice Alex Opoku mention the full list of those suspended magistrate justices. So, but what really does this mean, and to what extent is this likely to affect justice delivery? Let's now speak to Justice Emil Short. He's the former boss of the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice. He joins us live now over the telephone with some thoughts on this particular issue. Mr. Short, good morning and many thanks for your time on News Desk.
Good morning.
So, does this come as a surprise to you from where you sit? The suspension of these justices, I mean.
Well, to the extent that there has been a trial and they have been, found liable, the automatic punishment, of course, will be their removal from office. Obviously, it's going to affect the administration of justice because now the judiciary has to find magistrates and judges who would have to take over the cases that they were handling. Going to result in a delay of cases, quite a number of cases, which those judges and magistrates were handling. But that's inevitable. That cannot be avoided. I think what is probably controversial is the fact that some of the judges and magistrates were removed with benefit and others without benefit. Now, generally speaking, in criminal trials, where an accused person admits guilt and does not contest a charge, generally speaking, the tribunal has a discretion in exercising, in imposing a more lenient sentence. Whereas if an accused person resists and challenges the charges, then if at the end of the trial he or she is found guilty, then the tribunal would normally impose a greater sentence than what would be imposed on somebody who admitted guilt, pleaded guilty, and expressed remorse. So this is a discretion which is in the hands of the investigative body. Whether it should have been exercised in this particular case is a matter, of opinion. But there's no doubt that in criminal trials, this is the position that is taken. That if you deny the charges and if you resist the trial, you contest the matter, then if at the end of the trial you are found liable, then you expect to receive a much harsher punishment than someone who admitted guilt and expressed remorse.
So it's actually not surprising to see some of these sacked judges get end-of-service benefits even though they've been sacked. It's actually not surprising. I mean, they just say, I'm sorry, and that's it, and they get some money.
Well, I think here it's a debatable issue. Obviously, there are some who would take the view that corruption is a criminal offense, and it requires that they should receive the full punishment. Namely, they should not get any benefits. But as I said, it's a matter of discretion in the hands of the investigating committee or body. Whether this discretion has been exercised properly in the particular circumstances of this case, it's a matter of opinion. For example, in some criminal trial, someone may decide to plead guilty and can be used as a witness against his or her co-conspirators, in which case the person goes free and is used as a witness and is sort of granted a pardon. So it's an area of the law that is a little bit murky, and there is a lot of discretion both in terms of the prosecuting authorities and also the investigative tribunal. So it will come as a surprise to some that even though they have been found guilty of corruption, they still have been able to, recover some of their benefits.
Okay.
But let's not forget also that, these judges and magistrates are still open to criminal prosecution. This decision only affects their position on the bench. They have been removed from the bench, some with benefits, others without. The fact still remains that corruption is a criminal offense, and it is up to the Attorney General to decide whether, in the cases of these judges, criminal prosecutions will follow. So I think it's important to keep this in mind whilst we are discussing the issue as to whether it was appropriate for some to be removed with benefits and others without benefits.
So you speak of the fact that they are still open to criminal prosecution by the Attorney General. Can any ordinary Ghanaian, any other individual take up this matter and seek legal redress, try and prosecute these judges for these offenses?
Well, the discretion lies exclusively with the Attorney General. The Attorney General has the prerogative in determining whether, she would prosecute these judges. So that is a matter for the Attorney General to decide. I don't think any individual can bring a criminal prosecution. Under the Constitution, it's the prerogative of the Attorney General.
Right, and if we are to see a criminal case built against these people, what are the likely sentences they may serve if they are found guilty?
Well, that of course is here again is within the discretion of the trial judge. Corruption is a misdemeanor, and I think the maximum is 5 years. There have been calls for an amendment, an increase in the punishment. But if my memory serves me right, that is the maximum.
Right, Mr. Schultz, your line seems to be breaking a bit. If you could just reposition yourself briefly for us. But another question I wanted to ask is, well, we did know that the magistrate judges were about 22 or so. Now, this sack of these 20 persons leaves 2 people out of the whole process. Now, what is to happen to them? It means they've been left off the hook, sort of, some would suggest. But how is that likely to affect the cases they are handling, and even any future cases they are likely to handle?
What did the Judicial Secretary say about these 2 judges or magistrates?
Well,
I didn't get that.
Yes, these 2 judges were actually cleared, sort of, for according to information available to us.
Were cleared?
Yes. They did mention 18 names. 2 of the names were withheld because their lawyers had not been communicated to. But aside those 2, 2 other judges who were also initially accused of the same issue have been left out.
When you say left out, have they been acquitted and discharged, or
as things stand now,
not dealt with?
As things stand now, it's still unclear, but the information available to us is that they were cleared.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if the Judicial Secretary say that these two judges have been cleared, in other words, no adverse findings have been made against them, then automatically they would have to return to their jobs and carry on with their cases. It means that the allegations by Anas have not been proved, and they're entitled to be reinstated if they were suspended.
And how is this likely to affect them per se? I mean, if you have such a judge sitting on your case, well, that will raise a lot of eyebrows.
Well, to the extent that they have been acquitted, then it shouldn't raise eyebrows. The only problem I have is the fact that, the proceedings have not been made public. So the public don't know the basis on which they were acquitted. And that is where doubts will be created. If the Judicial Secretary comes out and indicates that these two judges or magistrates have been acquitted and give reasons why they were acquitted, and these reasons are credible, they are legitimate, they are based on facts, then I think that the generality of the public would not entertain any doubt about their integrity, and they would see that there were valid grounds on which they were acquitted, and therefore, persons appearing before them should not entertain any doubt about, their ability to determine their cases with impartiality and in a fair manner.
Right. Mr. Short, many thanks for your time on News Desk this morning. And Justice Emo Short is a former Shraj boss, and he shared with us some thoughts on the issue. And I'm speaking of those 20 magistrate judges that have been dismissed by the Chief Justice following that expose by investigative journalist Anas Aremeya. And as you're watching News Desk here on Joy News, we're taking a break. When we come back, we'll bring you a lot more stories.